Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we've got a pretty fun mission for you, actually. We're aiming to compile the definitive highlight reel for, well, one of the truly great ensemble sitcoms of the last, decade or so.
Yeah, it really holds up.
We are diving deep into all 146 episodes of New Girl. The goal, to put together the absolute must-watch list. We're blending the cold, hard IMDb data with what the fans, the real enthusiasts, actually love.
It's basically the ultimate shortcut, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for 7 seasons, we followed Jess, Nick, Winston, Schmidt, and Cece trying to figure out life in Apartment 4D.
That iconic loft.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the show kept a really high standard overall. You look at the average IMDb rating, it's like 7.7, which is solid. But, you don't just want the good episodes, you want the peaks.
You want the absolute best, the ones that delivered the biggest laughs or those really satisfying emotional payoffs.
So that's the idea.
Yeah.
We're pulling out the very best moments, the gut-busting comedy and those huge romantic milestones.
So if you're putting together your perfect New Girl rewatch list, well, we've got the blueprint right here. And I think we have to start where the data clearly points the relationship between Nick Miller and Jessica Day.
Oh, absolutely. It's kind of undeniable when you look at the numbers. The data really shows that the romantic heart of the show, especially Nick and Jess, was its main engine. The absolute top-rated episodes, they almost always line up directly with their major relationship milestones.
Okay, so let's hit the highest peak first. The #1 spot, pulling in a, frankly, phenomenal 9.1 or 9.2 rating, depending on where you look.
It's the season 6 finale. 5 stars for Bezos.
Yeah, 9.2 is huge for a sitcom episode. Why did this one soar so much higher than almost everything else? Was it just about that final kiss, you think?
I think it's more than that, though. The kiss is massive.
Yeah.
A big part of it was probably the uncertainty surrounding the show at the time. Fans were genuinely worried that this might be the end, the actual series finale.
Ah, right. So the writers kind of had to go all out.
Exactly. They had to deliver. And you get these huge emotional beats packed in. Jess deciding she actually has to move out of the loft. That felt big.
Yeah.
And Cece finding out she's pregnant. I mean, the stakes felt really high in that episode.
Okay, but the real climax, the bit that probably pushed it over the 9.0 mark, has to be that messy, chaotic, but just completely sweet moment where Nick and Jess finally get their feelings out there again.
Right, the re-revelation.
And it all culminates in that amazing elevator kiss, just confirming that the central couple, after all the back and forth, was finally back together. It felt like the ultimate payoff for 6 seasons of tension.
Totally. And if Beezy's was the big payoff, then we absolutely have to talk about the moment that kind of launched the whole thing, didn't it? Cooler from season 2. It's right behind Beezy's.
Yeah.
Usually rated 9.0 or 9.1.
The first kiss episode.
Yeah. Why is that kiss, which technically happened because of a game of True American, still holds so much weight with fans?
Well, it's all about Nick's refusal initially, isn't it? He's basically forced by the rules of this crazy drunken game to kiss Jess. But he stops, and he says he won't kiss her like this, meaning like as a joke, just because the game says so.
Exactly. That little moment, that refusal, it sets everything up, and the reward for the fans comes, moments later, when he comes back and kisses her for real, on his terms, not part of the game.
Yeah, that contrast is everything, going from the silly game structure to this undeniable real passion. That really defined their whole dynamic, didn't it?
It did. And the episode also gives us that term cooler, right?
Yeah.
Establishing Jess as the one Nick cares about maybe more than he can even admit at that point.
Okay, and we can't possibly discuss Nick and Jess peaks without mentioning maybe the most surreal half hour in the show's entire run. The Prince episode.
Oh, man, Prince.
Prince, season 3, episode 14. It rates solidly, like 8.5, 8.6. But creatively, that was a huge swing. Why do you think fans were okay with the sheer absurdity of Prince, the actual Prince, acting as their personal love guru?
Well, I think it's because the payoff felt earned in terms of character. Our sources actually confirm that Prince himself, his only condition for being on the show, was that he wanted to help Nick and Jess get together. He wanted to move their story forward.
So he wasn't just a cameo, he actively served the plot.
Yeah, he basically became their, celebrity love doctor for an evening. You have Nick finally blurting out, "I love you."
And Jess just panics, responds with finger guns.
Classic Jess panic. And then Prince literally steps in, almost like a guide, forces Jess to face her anxiety and helps her say it back through pancakes and a song duet.
Pancakes and a song duet, only on New Girl. It's kind of the perfect example of the show's weird magic, right? Grounding something totally absurd in genuine character emotion.
Definitely. Okay, so Nick and Jess obviously brought those high-stakes, big emotional moments that scored really high. But where do we find the purest comedic chaos?
Yeah, the episodes that fans just cite as the absolute funniest, even if the IMDb score isn't quite a 9.0 because maybe the romantic stakes weren't as high in that specific one.
Right. We need to pivot to those ensemble comedy showcases.
And the gold standard for New Girl comedy often seems to be trapping the whole gang in the loft with some kind of escalating, ridiculous premise, forcing them to just bounce off each other's neuroses.
Nothing captures that better than Background Check. Season 4, Episode 6. It clocks in at a very strong 8.7.
This one is just a masterclass in farce, isn't it? The setup is so simple, but so effective. Winston's applying to be a cop. He needs a home inspection.
A totally clean, normal home inspection.
Which means the entire group has to pretend to be functional, normal adults for, like, an hour.
An impossible task for Apartment 40.
Completely impossible, because Jess becomes convinced, utterly convinced, she's hiding a bag of crystal meth in her closet.
Which she absolutely is not.
No, but she has this total meltdown. The entire group just implodes, thinking they're about to get busted for drug trafficking, all while Winston is desperately trying to keep it together for the officer doing the inspection.
And the reveal that it's aquarium rocks. It's perfect. But watching them all panic, genuinely believing their lives are over because of some gravel for a fish tank. That is peak ensemble chemistry.
And Royston just trying to play it cool through all of it. His reactions are priceless.
It's a true situational masterclass. Then you've got another Season 4 gem, Spider Hunt, Episode 17, rated 8.8. This one is just high concept, loft chaos.
Driven entirely by two things, right? Schmidt's crippling fear of spiders.
Debilitating arachnophobia.
Yes, and Nick's uncanny ability to misunderstand literally everything.
The absolute comedic peak of that episode has to be that misunderstanding. Jess has been kind of wound up by Winston into thinking Nick might be trying to date Cece.
Right.
Meanwhile, Nick thinks Jess is upset about him maybe getting a popcorn machine for the bar. The way their conversations just completely miss each other is it's beautiful.
It's incredible. And Nick is so weirdly committed to his side project, the sauce making.
The sauce.
Remember the line, "Can you imagine how powerful that spider would have become had he entered my sauce?" The delivery is just chef's kiss.
Utterly brilliant. Okay, and then for a slightly different flavor of comedic tension, maybe more, internal, you have Quick Hardening Caulk.
Season 2, Episode 19, rated 8.4. This is the sexual frustration episode, basically.
Yeah, it really is. Jess, totally against her own will, starts finding Nick incredibly attractive. Why? Because he starts doing basic self-care stuff.
Like, the bar is so low, she has this complete internal meltdown when he says something totally normal like, "I'm thinking about taking a vitamin today."
Her inner monologue is just gold in that episode. And the contrast is key, right? You have Jess's secret mounting frustration.
Yeah.
And then you have Schmidt's really bizarre way of coping with Cece getting engaged to someone else. He gets obsessed with buying a lionfish.
A dangerous, venomous lionfish.
Exactly. Which he eventually kind of figures out is a metaphor for Cece, right?
Yeah.
Something beautiful and dangerous that he wants desperately but absolutely cannot have. That mix of messy feelings and weird physical comedy. That's so New Girl.
Totally. And speaking of Cece and Schmidt, maybe we should shift gears slightly and talk about their big relationship milestones and also some of the key departures for the group.
Yeah, their journey was definitely bumpier than Nick and Jess's in some ways. Starting with Cece's first attempt at getting married.
Right. The Season 2 finale, Elaine's Big Day, that pulled an 8.6. It was pure chaos leading up to her wedding to shivering.
The absurdity levels are just off the charts. You've got Schmidt actively trying to sabotage the wedding, convincing Nick that some random woman named Elaine is the key.
And somehow, Nick and Jess end up trapped in the air vents.
With a badger.
With an actual badger, while trying to stop the wedding. But honestly, the moment that probably sealed the high rating, the big surprise, was Taylor Swift showing up.
Yeah, the Taylor Swift cameo as Elaine, the woman who actually does interrupt the wedding and stop it. Unexpected, but kind of perfect for the show's vibe.
Okay, fast forward a bit. Season 4 finale, clean break. This one's rated 9.0, so right up there near the top again.
And this episode is kind of emotional whiplash, isn't it? Because it juggles two huge things at once. First, you have Coach leaving.
Yeah, Damon Wayans Jr.'s second departure from the show.
He's leaving for New York with his girlfriend, May, and he's determined to make a literal clean break. You know, no tearful goodbyes.
But just as Coach is making his exit, Schmidt has this massive realization that he can't make a clean break from Cece.
Right. And it leads to, I think, arguably the most satisfying proposal in the whole series.
It's so good. He goes back to the douchebag jar, finds the original dollar bill he had to put in when he first met Cece and said something awful,
Yeah,
and he just holds it up and says, "Girl, I'ma marry you." It's such a perfect earned moment of growth for Schmidt, from douchebag to genuinely selfless proposal.
totally earned. And then, of course, we get to their actual wedding. Season 5 finale, Landing Gear, rated 8.8. And naturally, it couldn't just be a straightforward wedding.
Oh no, that would be too easy. It was a disaster, but kind of beautiful in its own way.
How so?
Well, Schmidt makes this last-minute impulsive decision to fly to Portland to try and convince Cece's mom to come to the wedding,
Okay.
which means he gets stuck on the plane and misses his own wedding ceremony. He has to attend via iPad.
Oh my God, of course he does. Classic Schmidt move? Maybe. Maybe. But the really lovely part is how the gang rallies. They don't let the disaster win. They end up holding this really small, intimate, and genuinely moving private ceremony later in the loft just for them.
Oh, that's nice.
It really is. It's just a perfect example of how the show always balanced the crazy plot stuff with real heart and the strength of their friendship.
Definitely. Okay, before we kind of wrap up our main list, we should probably do a quick run through of some deep cuts or fan favorites that get mentioned all the time for specific moments or jokes.
Yeah, the ones that maybe don't have the huge plot significance of a finale,
Yeah.
but contain just pure, memorable New Girl gold.
Exactly. Where should we start? Maybe Pepperwood. Season 2, episode 14, rated around 8.2.
Oh, absolutely. This is pure Jake Johnson brilliance. It's the episode where Nick creates his literary detective alter ego.
Julius Pepperwood. From Chicago. Ex-cop, ex-Marine.
Thin crust pizza. No, thank you. I'm from Chicago.
He's investigating one of Jess's creative writing students who he's convinced is a serial killer. It's just amazing physical comedy and ridiculous lines from him.
And isn't that also the episode that introduces the term pogo?
Yes, the annoying little habit that your friends talk about behind your back, which of course sends Schmidt into an absolute spiral of self-doubt.
Perfect. What else? We got to mention Menzies, right? Season
Oh.
2, episode 7, rated about 8.1.
Ah, yes, the PMS episode, which actually handles it pretty sensitively, but also hilariously. It gives us that all-time relatable Jess quote.
I feel like I want to murder someone, but I also want soft pretzels.
Exactly, so real. But maybe more importantly, Menzies is the episode that introduces Nick's silent guru, Tran.
Tran, oh my gosh, yes. Played by the wonderful Ralph Ahn. And the highlight has to be that incredibly surreal yet somehow gentle pool scene.
Where Tran just wordlessly counsels Nick by, holding him and rocking him in the water to help him process his anger.
It's bizarre and beautiful, and fans talk about that scene constantly.
Okay, one more maybe. Let's go way back. Season 1, episode 12, The Landlord.
Ooh, good one. Featuring Remy, the original grumpy landlord played by Jeff Kober.
Right. The guys are desperately trying to get him to fix stuff, but they keep breaking the lease.
And Jess, in her classic early season optimism, thinks she can just charm him into fixing everything.
Until Nick has to step in and warn her about Remy's less than honorable intentions. It's a great early example of Nick being protective of Jess.
And it culminates in Remy's truly bizarre proposition to Jess involving a threesome, I think.
Yeah. It's just this hilarious, slightly creepy moment that perfectly sets the tone for the kind of awkward chaos they lived in.
So when you kind of step back and look at all these top-tier episodes we've talked about, a clear pattern emerges, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. The winning formula for New Girl seems to be this perfect marriage of, high-stakes romantic tension, whether it was Nick and Jess or Cece and Schmidt,
Right, those core relationships driving things forward.
combined with just this relentless stream of physical, ensemble-based absurdity, truly ridiculous situations.
It's the consistency, though, I think. The characters always reacted to the absurdity in character, even when facing the most outlandish premise, like hiding fake meth or chasing a lionfish. You believe their reactions because they stayed true to who they were.
That's a really good point. It kept the audience grounded and connected even when the plots went completely off the rails.
And that actually brings us to our final thought for you today. Our sources pointed out something interesting. The lowest rated episodes of the show. They often happened when characters made decisions that felt, well, strange or just out of character.
Huh. Decisions that didn't quite track with who we knew them to be after seasons of development.
Exactly,
Yeah.
which raises a pretty important question, I think, about the long-term success of any sitcom, really.
Okay, what's the question?
If a show's success, its ability to stay great over many seasons, hinges not just on having funny ideas, but on keeping that internal logic, that character integrity, even when throwing them into absurd situations.
Yeah.
Then which other long-running comedies manage to pull that off? Which shows successfully navigated character growth without losing the core personalities we loved? And, maybe more interestingly, which ones kind of failed? Which shows lost their way because the characters started acting in ways that just didn't feel true anymore.
That's actually a really interesting question to chew on. Something
Ah,
for you to think about next time you're deep into a sitcom binge.